So what does Hugh Freeze mean when he's talking about the quarterbacks?
Freezing temperatures are likely for several hours inland and a few hours closer to the coast.
Yes.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Happy Charlie Tuesday to all who celebrate, as we are joined by Auburn message board legend Charlie 5. And you and I have talked several times off air about Hugh Freeze, the quarterback room, and his comments, Charlie 5. I mean, and he's not really changing it up, whether he's talking, to a room full of high school coaches, whether he's talking one-on-one to me, whether he's talking to the media in a press conference. He's using the same verbiage of the quarterback room's got to grow up, and you have a different perspective on this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but to me it sounds like he's done his homework, and I'm not sure that he feels very confident in the room, period. As it stands. I think that room's got to grow up. Like, okay, what does that mean? Like, that could mean,
I even asked him that.
That could mean,
I don't know.
that could mean a bunch of things, and not very many of them are good. You know what I mean? Like, grow up from a maturity standpoint, grow up from where they are as a quarterback, grow up from, I mean, there's a ton of things that could mean, and none of them are really that good.
That's true.
I mean, can you think of that room's got to grow up in a positive manner? And they've got to decide if they want to. They've got to decide if they truly want to be a quarterback. Like, my dad used to say that to me. Like, you got to decide, if you really want,
No, yeah. I mean, I say that to hosts when they're like not doing enough. Like, do you want to do this?
Or
like
employees.
Do you really want to like lean into this all the way? So yeah, I'm totally with you on that. I mean, part of me, just to push back, wants to say, maybe he's hinting at their upside so they can grow up and become that. But I still think you would word it differently if that was the case, right?
Could it be a challenge? Is he just challenging the quarterback room? That could be a thing as well. But it's like, man, there's a lot of different ways that you could take those statements, and none of them are really that positive. So it's like, man, there's just does not seem like there's a lot of. But then again, like early on, he talked about how much he loved Robby. So I don't know if something's happened recently or what, but it seems like the temperature of desire for that quarterback room has dropped dramatically.
Yeah, I mean, and we've heard things about both of these quarterbacks, or seen things about both of these quarterbacks where it's like, did they always show the characteristics of a perfect leader? Like, I don't think we've seen that. Like, we've seen Robby, be upset and, take his helmet off on the sidelines and things like that. And I'm not talking about the emotional stuff of like John with Tank or anything like that. They're competitors. I'm not really talking about that. I'm talking about when something bad happens, he's slumped over on the sidelines. Like, you can't have that if you're going to be a leader. And if you're going to be a Hugh Freeze quarterback, like, you can't have that. Had that before, and it got a lot of bad criticism with Bo. Bo wore his emotions on his sleeve, so maybe that has something to do with what he's talking about when he's talking about grow up. Yeah, and then TJ. I mean, I think TJ was almost like less in the spotlight as Robby, but it still sounds like Actually, I don't know. I don't really know if I have a great example for TJ.
Of what?
Just not showing like great leadership.
Didn't he? I mean, okay. I don't know. I mean, there was talk that he was probably healthy enough to come back and play.
Never mind. That's right.
He was healthy enough to come back and play, and he just wouldn't come back and play. So like, there's
hold on to the red shirt. Yeah, you're right. That's totally
it. And then with Holden, I don't ever hear anything about Holden. So is that bad? Is that and you could say that could be necessarily a bad thing. Like, he doesn't doesn't seem to assert himself anywhere, whether it be vocally or you never hear a whole lot of, you just don't ever really hear anything about it. We don't even really know how he's developing or whatever.
Yeah.
So, could that be something?
Hugh Freeze talked about last Thursday when he spoke to the media, Charlie 5, he talked about these daily lists that he gives. And like, you don't want your name on a list that comes from Coach Dom or one of the other staffers. And of the 3 quarterbacks, it's like, who's least likely to show up on that list? And the answer is probably Holden, right? Is that fair?
Yeah, I think so.
So we'll see. I mean, does that play into anything? I don't know.
I would love to know the titles of those lists, the criteria on those lists, like how you get on, how you get off.
He talked about parking. And it's like, who's parking in the wrong spot? How often does that actually come up?
Attention to detail. I didn't know there was assigned parking.
Me either. Had no clue.
Somebody's been parking in his spot? I mean, that could be an issue.
Can you imagine accidentally parking in Coach Freeze's spot? Like, Coach, you're never here. I didn't think you'd actually come to the facility.
You're recruiting every single day.
Yeah. Like, you didn't know it's a dead period? Like, nope, didn't. My bad, Coach. Yeah, so I don't know. You're seeing more and more people, though. I'm seeing it in the YouTube comments a ton. I'm seeing it on social media and in the Locked On Auburn Discord. People saying, like, Holden could be the starter in 2023. I don't know if I'm buying that, Charlie 5. Like, I don't know if I'm really buying that. I think his path to starting is pretty tough.
Yeah.
Just all things considered. I think any path for somebody starting that's not Robby is actually pretty tough. Unless they get a transfer that comes in May that just was kind of planned all along. We'll see if it happens. I don't know. But yeah, if it's not Robby, I'm going to be really surprised. But you're seeing more and more Auburn fans kind of say, what about Holden? What about Holden Geriner? And it'd be fun. It'd be fun to see. And if Holden wins the job, Charlie 5, I expect really high things because, like, I think Robby and a Hugh Freeze offense could be fun. And I think Hugh realizes that. That's probably why he extended, one of the many reasons why he extended, the invitation to one player to be in his opening presser when he accepted the job. But if it's Holden, like, Freeze is going to be high on him, and I think that would be really, really fun to see.
Yeah, Holden seems kind of like he's not going to wow you. He doesn't have probably not the physical traits that Hugh may want out of like a Robby or a Walker White or somebody like that. But he could be your Bo Wallace. You're just be smart with the ball, get it out, be accurate, and don't turn it over. Like that could be that may be the thing that wins the job. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going to win the job if they don't. If it's not bringing in someone else that's just better than everybody. I don't know.
Yeah.
What could possibly win the job with this quarterback room as it sits.
That's right. And we're not going to know at the end of spring, but I do think the order that they come out in A-Day will be fascinating. Like if Geriner comes out before TJ, boy, would that be a story. That'd be a lot of fun to see. Just because I think it would kind of signify a future with what Geriner could possibly bring. And also, like, maybe we kind of believe, like, okay, if he's going to do something like that, maybe Freeze sees something in him, or maybe he sees the writing on the wall that TJ may leave, right? I mean, we're all kind of aware that is a very likely possibility. We'll see if it happens. And maybe if that does happen, that'll be kind of Hugh tipping his hat and saying, it's okay if you leave. Like, you can go. We need the roster spot, which I think would be a storyline in and of itself. And not a whole lot of people would blame them. And I don't know if TJ would blame them, just being 100% honest. So we'll see. We're all excited about the 2024 class already. It's got 3 members. It's consistently in the top 20. But Hugh Freeze has made it clear he's not happy with it yet. He's still working. Let's touch on that in just a moment right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at Built Bar. If you were looking for a delicious treat but don't want all the fat and calories, and you've got to try a Built Bar. It's still early in the year. Maybe New Year's resolutions are still a thing. Odds are they're probably not. But Built Bars make it easier. They come in unbelievably good flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, and coconut almond. And all these bars covered 100% in real, decadent, delicious chocolate. and they're all high in protein, low in calories, low in sugar. What's not to love? And if you just want one of these bars right away, right now, you don't want the quick and convenient shipping from built.com, you can head over to your local Sam's Club or your local Walmart. They have Built bars there. Thank you so much to Built Bar for partnering with the Locked On Podcast Network. Charlie 5, our guest every single Tuesday, depending on where you look. 247 has Auburn's 2024 class as the 19th in the country. I believe On Threes is 15th. So On Threes always right when it comes to ranking Auburn's 2024 class.
Always. It's the best, most consistent.
But Amon Lane has been committed for a hot minute. But Jaden Lewis and Walker White committing last week. What was your initial reaction to landing both of these guys?
Oh, well, I mean, you saw on the live show, I ran off into,
you were in a ditch.
Ran off into the ditch on the side of the interstate. No, I was excited. We kind of got a tip that it was going to happen. I didn't believe it. I was like, there's no way. There's just been too much Clemson smoke.
Yeah, it was almost like, okay, we've done this before.
Yeah.
And we just keep getting hurt. And then 10 minutes before the announcement, I'm like, you know what, Charlie 5, I'm ready to get hurt again. Yeah. And I wasn't
about mid-morning, I was full on bring on the pain. I was like, I'm in, hurt me kind of thing.
That's right.
And then it happened. And then I cannot remember the last time that we started a class with a quarterback that was fired up about adding people to the class. And not only that, was popular enough that it turns heads with other kids. So
Bo Nix didn't do that?
I don't remember that from Bo. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't really remember that. Bo,
I don't either, but he was a 5-star,
Yeah, someone said, I think Jay Lee said Bo was never really an introvert, but he's not, or maybe it was Keith Niebuhr, but he wasn't an extrovert. So I just don't think that was Bo. I don't think that was Bo's personality. And Walker seems very outgoing. Like he's retweeting people to, you're listening to this today. He's probably retweeted some players today, but he was retweeting decommitments yesterday from other schools. He's tweeting at players that are, he's getting after it. And when he committed, he reeled off a list of dudes.
He's been committed 5 seconds. He's like, hey, come play with me.
I want you to come play with me. And that to me is no disrespect to Braden Joyner, but there's only so much you can do. He was our guy last year, but there's only so much you can do as an interior lineman.
Right.
I just, even though you could be a great player, it's just, it doesn't, and you're popular. That just doesn't seem to, I don't think that really fires people up as it does their quarterback, their leader.
Yeah. And we've had some good player recruits. Damari Austin was exceptional, and that's a running back's going to carry a little bit more than some other positions. And then one of the best ones was Malcolm Askew.
Really?
Wasn't he super into all of that?
I'm sure he's one that committed so early though. It was hard to, I don't know. It was one
that was forever ago. That was five.
Kind of
Amon Lane.
Classes. Amon Lane is a complete, boss.
Yeah,
can absolutely fly. Great defensive back, but he's been committed for so long. You almost kind of forget about him. But he's probably going to end up being one of the better players in the class. So it's Walker White, though, last week, that's okay, this is real, and we're about to be a top 5 to top 10 type recruiting team. And that gets me fired up.
Do you think a top 5 class is possible?
I'm sorry. I'm at 5. I think we're going to be consistently somewhere between 5 and 10. I think you're going to be 7, 8. I mean, he could. I mean, he had one of the top classes at Ole Miss. He should be able to, in theory, have more resources here at Auburn to pull that off. So, but I mean, Freeze with a 6 to 8 classes is going to beat a lot of tails. You know what I mean? There's not going to be very many people that are going to outcoach him when he has the talent of multiple top, 6 to 8 recruiting classes. So,
right.
And starting off early, you see that is very much. I'll be shocked if we're not a top 10 class. That's very much in sight. And then if he were to have a little spark this year, win 9 maybe win 9 games.
2025? Are you kidding me?
You're signing that, it's gonna be ridiculous. And he's already starting on 2025. So like he said, these 2 classes are the most important. They will decide the fate of his tenure at Auburn, and he is recruiting like that's the case. It'll be a fun ride. It's going to be a absolute blast. There's nothing more fun to me. Like when you play NCAA football, I simmed all the games. I didn't even play the games.
You're just recruiting.
I recruited. There was some of the older versions. You could set your recruiting budget high and your development high, but it would make you go on probation. I would just jack it all the way up and just go on probation every 2 or 3 years. Just have all 5 stars. That's my favorite thing in the whole wide world is recruiting.
Yeah,
it's fun again.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, it hasn't been this fun since the early Malzahn days, really. I mean, he had a few classes in 8 or 9, and that was great. We thought that was awesome,
Chiswick was the greatest. That was the greatest 2-year run ever in recruiting. It was so much fun.
Yeah, we had Michael Dyer, and then who was the South Carolina running back?
Marcus Lattimore and Lake Seastrunk, and they were all
went to Baylor. Yeah,
but there was a time where they all 3 were on campus, and we thought we were gonna get all of them.
Yeah, Trevon Reed, even back then, was the guy recruiting them all. Trevon Reed and Jeff Whitaker were come on.
Yeah,
they got most of them. That was a fun class.
Trevon Reed was part of that whole. Yeah, it was part of that.
Because he was a 5-star, wasn't he?
Yes,
he was a 5-star receiver.
5-star athlete, just unbelievable. Hurt himself early and just kind of never bounced back. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun, man. We're gonna have a blast.
All right, who could be the next to commit? Charlie 5 has 4 guys. 4 guys that could be the next to commit. We'll tell you who those guys are in just a moment right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. If you do not have a place to wager on all of your Super Bowl 57 needs, FanDuel is the place to go. You can download FanDuel now so you can bet Super Bowl 57. They have a no-sweat first bet, meaning you'll get up to $3,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. FanDuel lets you bet on everything from the money line to point spread to who will score a touchdown. And the FanDuel Sportsbook app, it is safe, secure, and super easy to use, and you can get paid your winnings instantly. So join FanDuel today at FanDuel.com/LockedOn to claim your no-sweat first bet on Super Bowl 57. That is FanDuel.com/LockedOn. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Alumni Hall. It is my favorite place to buy Auburn swag. If you're ever in a bad mood, just go into your local Alumni Hall. If you're in Auburn or Opelika, they've got one there. The Opelika one's in Tigertown. The Auburn one's off of College Street. They've also got one up in Huntsville if you live near Huntsville, and a lot of you do, which is very, very cool. A little far away from me, but it's very close to Alumni Hall, which is great. They've got all of your Auburn swag, whether it's a jersey for basketball, getting ready for March Madness, or baseball right around the corner starting next weekend. Very, very exciting stuff. Be sure to check it out. Alumni Hall. And if you want to check it out online, alumnihall.com. Charlie 5, happy Charlie Tuesday to everyone. All right, give us your first of your 4 guys that could be the next to commit to Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers.
All right, so the guy that I think this is totally, I'm just guessing and based off a little bit of intel from all the different message boards and things like that. He's currently unranked, but you have to go look at his offer list. Okay. You got Alabama, you got Florida, you got Georgia, you got Georgia Tech. His offer list is incredible. His measurables is incredible. From Tuskegee, Alabama, Booker T. Washington, Joseph Phillips, outside linebacker, came on a visit. He's 6'3", 230. You got to go watch his film. Google Joseph Phillips huddle and just go watch his film. He looks like he's like a Jeff Holland clone. High motor. He blocks punts. He plays wide receiver. Freak athlete, and he loves this staff. He loves Aldridge, the linebacker coach. He loves Hugh Freeze. And here's a cool thing, and this is I think Cole Pinkston said this, and I think this is awesome. Not that I think not that I don't think it's impossible to be a disciplined, hardworking kid in high school if you don't have a job. This dude already is like working. He like works at a local restaurant. He's doing interviews in between shifts and things like that. Like he's dedicated. I think we're just going to really like this kid.
It's a different mentality. I love that.
It's a different mentality.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm not saying that kids that don't have jobs are soft. That's not what I'm saying.
Sure.
But
right.
it just brings a different element of a dude that has responsibilities, and he knows that he's on a mission. He's not trying to land NIL deals. He's trying to help pay bills and get things taken care of before he goes off to college. Love this guy. Little tidbit. They played Montgomery Catholic, was their third game of the year. That's Jeremiah Cobb.
Yeah.
And I think people have said that Jeremiah Cobb said he wanted no part of him. So just go. Just
I want that then.
Take that hey, let's run to the other side. Hey, let's run away from this guy.
Yeah.
He's a stud. And you don't have to watch but the first 4 plays to know he will end up being, I think, a top 150 player, top 10 player in the state. I think he's going to be an Auburn Tiger. He's an absolute stud. So Joseph Phillips, I think he's very close. He could possibly go.
Okay.
Next, I'm kind of taking a flyer here. I hadn't really heard a whole lot about this guy, but he just decommitted from Alabama. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And not only did he decommit from Alabama, this was yesterday. So you're listening to this on Tuesday. On Monday, he decommitted from Alabama, and Walker White is immediately retweeting, tagging. He's from Rome, Georgia, a tight end, H-back type guy. His name's Martavius Collins, high 4-star guy from, like I said, from Rome, Georgia, 6'3", 240. Something seems to be up there. I don't know. The timing and Walker being involved, and I think he was on the list of dudes that Walker put out. I don't know. That might be one to watch. I think I haven't watched a ton of film on him. I don't think he's, every time you see tight end, everybody goes, oh, Evan Ingram, because
You're right.
because it doesn't matter what they look like. Just tight end. Oh, think about what he did with Evan Ingram. This is not going to be I don't think this is going to be a slot tight end. I think this is going to be like an H-back. So maybe, I don't know, some of the guys of the past, like maybe, I don't know, Brandon Fultz, a Jay Prosh type
Brandon
guy.
Fultz is the first H-back that came to your mind?
Well, I'm thinking that size too. I'm trying to think like his measurables. They had similar.
So Chandler Cox.
Yeah. Somebody similar to that, but just way more beefy. More beefy.
Okay.
I mean, 6'3", 240. That's a well put together child.
As a dude who's like still a junior in high school. Like, yeah, that's crazy.
You put his picture that his decommitment tweet, his freaking legs are like
the size of his waist. It's crazy.
Oh, it's incredible. Like, he's just well put together kid. But I don't think anybody's necessarily said that, but the timing of the decommitment and everything that's been going on, and then Walker getting involved, like, I wouldn't. And honestly, that's one of the first times I've really like looked and heard his name. So I don't know. I'll maybe be on the watch for him. The decommitment was very obviously very, very interesting to watch.
Players that wear number 12 that aren't quarterbacks, they always got a swag to them. Always.
They do.
Always. All right, who's your third?
Okay, so the third I'm going to put in in the same category. Okay, I think we're going to get a running back soon. I don't know exactly who it will be, but I think it's going to be one of two guys.
Okay,
and I could be wrong, but you got Jamarian Fat Burnett from Andalusia, and then you got this Daniel Hill cat from Meridian, Mississippi, who's an absolute freak. I don't know where, but Fat tweeted out yesterday, what's the move? And it's him in the Auburn. I think he was tagging Walter White, and Walker White is retweeting him, and you know what the move is. So something kind of and then Brian Matthews from Rivals said, he may be close. So, could it be Fat Burnett? I'm not 100% sure because he has a very similar skill set to this, a similar build, not really a skill set. This kid from Daniel Hill from Meridian, Mississippi is a bona fide freak. He is an absolute freak. He's 6'1", 6'2", whatever you're looking at, 220. But you watch his film, and he'll catch one, or he'll take a regular handoff out of the backfield. He'll go one-on-one 50-50 balls with DBs. Like he does everything. He does absolutely everything. Both of these guys are about the same size. I think Daniel Hill probably has a little bit wider array of skills, but Jamarian Burnett is, an in-state kid from down in an area that could possibly yield a lot of relationships and talent moving forward. So, and he's got a cool nickname. I mean, I just want Fat toting the ball.
That'd be awesome.
But I think a running back is about to pop. I think we're going to get a running back pretty soon. So I'm trying to figure out who that's going to be. I hope if it's one of these two guys, we're in really, really good shape.
Was that your third and fourth guy, or do you have one more?
That's my third and fourth guy. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Are we taking 2 running backs in this class?
I think you might take 2. I don't think that you take these 2. I think they're a little bit too similar. I think probably, you take one and then you may get like a smaller, third down type. But if you get Hill, you kind of get both. So
yeah, it's interesting.
So how does that work out? Not really sure. So it may be the first one to pull the trigger. Who knows? But I think we're getting close to it, having a running back pop.
Charlie 5, how can people love you, support you, all that stuff?
Absolutely. Find me on Twitter at @the_Charlie_5, in the Locked On Auburn Discord every single day, auburnlive.com, the corner message board, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday on the Dad Bod Golf Pod.
You can find all my written work at auburndaily.com. We will see you tomorrow. This has been Locked On Auburn.